Well, Christoph, we've been driving around for about 40 minutes now. I imagine our under the hood temperatures are pretty high.
Yeah, but with the heat shield you can rest assured that the air filter won't be sucking any of that hot air in.
Well, we're going to need it in a merge like this.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that cold air intake system sure gives us the extra oomph we need, especially in a merge like that.
Oh yeah, well as far as performance upgrades goes, that's just the best bang for your buck, period.
Couldn't say it better myself. Today we have Christoph, a senior tech with Signature Motoring, to talk to us about high performance cold air intakes. Now tell us, Christoph, what's wrong with the factory air intake system in a stock BMW?
Well, technically there's nothing wrong with it. The only problem is that when they make these, they have to take a lot of things into consideration, like expense, emissions, noise, that sort of thing. And all that, of course, comes at the cost of sheer power and performance. Now your BMW, or any car for that matter, runs on fuel and air. The more air the better, period. That's why you see those hood scoops on the muscle cars and those fancy intake vents on the exotics. And there's a good reason for that. The reason being is that cold air is a lot denser than hot air. It carries more oxygen, so when it gets to the combustion chamber and mixes with your fuel, you get a better and more efficient combustion. So cold air is vital to any engine when you're trying to get peak performance there.
So for those seeking power and often greater gas mileage, a high performance cold air intake seems to be the key.
That's correct. Anybody who's looking for more oomph in their car should consider getting a high performance air filter in combination with a Signature Motoring heat shield. It's one of the easiest and most inexpensive ways to boost your performance in your Beamer.
Well, tell us what we're looking at here, Christoph.
Alright, this right here is a factory airbox from an E30 series BMW. It's typical for pretty much every airbox you're going to find in those here models. And the first thing you'll see on it is the big plastic housing that encases the whole filter system. It's there to shield the filter itself from the hot air in the engine compartment. But as you can see, on this side right here, the air intake hole is fairly small, and it limits the amount of air getting into the filter itself. And the filter itself isn't that big either, so the surface area of the filter restricts the airflow as well.
Okay, now tell us about this big guy over here.
Alright, this on the other hand, this is a high performance air filter like we were talking about earlier. This particular one is a K&N, and K&N is widely regarded to be the best high performance air filter on the market. Now the big difference with this to this is that these high performance air filters have a much larger surface area, which means they can suck in air from all directions. And I mean, you'll just see when you put it in your car that your car is going to be able to breathe a lot better and get a lot more air flowing in there.
Now, aside from performance, what does a big filter like that do for our gas mileage?
Alright, well that's fairly straightforward. The smaller your surface area on an air filter, the more prone and the more quickly it will become dirty. Dirty air filter can actually rob 10% off your gas mileage. So it's important to have that big surface area.
Understood.
Now we do have one problem with these air filters, being that they sit on top and out in the open in the engine compartment. They're prone to sucking hot air from the engine itself in. And like we said earlier, we want cold air, not hot air.
Now tell us what we can do about that.
Alright, well if you're considering putting one of these in, you're definitely going to need one of these. This is the Signature Motoring heat shield.
Well, now that is a handsome looking product.
Yeah, and aside from being, you know, visually appealing, it's the best heat shield out there. It's made with a solid steel shell on the outside, and on the inside we've got this heat insulating laminate. So what it actually does for the air filter is it blocks off all the hot air from the engine compartments that's trying to get in there, and it only allows the cold air from your grill to come in through your high performance air filter and in your engine.
Well,
so that means basically you're getting not only better gas mileage like we talked about, but a better performance, more horsepower, more torque, all of that.
well, you can't really ask for more than that. Now, how much time would it take to remove a factory air box and put in a high-performance cold air intake system like that? An hour, hour and a half?
Not even. I'd say for a first-timer, from the time he pops the hood until he has his baby installed with the air filter, until he closes the hood again, I'd say maybe 30 minutes max.
Nice. Now let's take a look at one of these high-performance units under the hood.
All right, let's go.